I'm in my front yard just checking up on the performance of our shade cloth and how it helps germinate. So these were 2 beds of carrots that we covered, and they're germinated really well. So I'm happy with that. I can clearly see the rows. It's kind of hard to show in the camera because carrots are so tiny when they come up, but the rows are clear, and they're all coming up really good right now. So what I did here is this is a drip site, and drip isn't great for carrots, but we planted the beds, covered them with the shade cloth. I hand watered them for a while to establish them, and then I just ran the drip as normal. So because the beds weren't allowed to dry out as normal as they would, the drip was able to spread better and keep the bed more soaked. In today's vlog, I'll be checking up on the plot just around the corner that had shade cloth on the lettuce, and we'll see how that did. And I'll be checking up on another one of our plots, in fact 2 other plots, and show you guys some of the work we're going to be doing in my workshop next week. The June workshop starts on Monday. And I also wanted to announce that the Arizona tickets for Steadfast Farm, the 5-day workshop there at Eric Schultz's farm in Queen Creek, Arizona, those are up now. Link is below. I also wanted to mention that the discount code I gave for the book the other day, it also applies to the digital tools package. So you can get $15 off the digital tools package if you already have my book. So that's that. So we covered this bed a week ago, and I think we agree that it's slowing it down for sure. The one thing that Mark pointed out too is that it's preventing it from getting the brown tips, the frazzled tips, and that happens when you get really intense heat and sun for a period of time. That can happen in the course of a week. So we don't see any of that action happening, so it looks like it's working good so far. So these 2 Salanova beds were cut twice, and now we're turning them over, and we're gonna get some carrots in there. And next week we will, in the workshop, make a brief visit here to watch us harvest some Salanova. And so these beds are now gonna be on their 2nd rotation, and just like most of our beds on our farm, they're gonna be planted around 4 times a year. So these carrots should be out in about 65 days or so, and then the beds will be turned over and something else will be planted again. Checking up on our flagship plot here. Our tomatoes are doing really, really well. Really well, healthy, beautiful, no bugs. A lot of flowers coming along, some fruits on there. These are all various cherry tomatoes. This one is just pumping. This is doing really good. So next week we'll actually have the workshop. We're gonna spend a big chunk of the day on, I believe, Tuesday and part of Monday at this plot. We're gonna be harvesting a bunch of these beds. We're going to be harvesting this arugula, then we'll be turning them over. Same with this tatsoi and red Russian. And that tatsoi over there, we'll be turning a bunch of these beds over. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to get their hands dirty, run the tilther, use the fork, use the stirrup hoe, put some turkey manure fertilizer into these beds, and they're going to see exactly how everything is done. So we've got quite a bit of work to do at this plot. So this is a perfect example of high rotation. These beds have been in production for probably less than 60 days now. They're going to be cropped out one more time and then turned over. So these beds of arugula will have gotten 2 cuts. These beds of tatsoi will have gotten 2 or 3 cuts. The red Russian has gotten 3 cuts. This one will be on its 2nd cut at that time. We'll also be harvesting the spinach for the 2nd time and then turning it over. So big turnover at this plot here. The cool thing about the fact that we have 2 sets of tomatoes this year, 2 successions of tomatoes, is that people in the workshop will have an opportunity to see different stages of growth and how the management of these plants are different at each stage. So at the home base, we've got tomatoes that are in full production. They're 7 feet tall. They're pumping out tomatoes. They're pruned really aggressively. Now there's 5 feet of bare stem and then fruits beneath that. These are 2 months behind, so it's a totally different set of succession. So we're going to be able to show how we're tying and pruning at the early stage and how we're doing it at the later stage as well. I'm here at our biorotation site checking on the shade cloth that was in with some planted lettuce. Now, I'm not going to talk about that lettuce right now, that's an experiment. I'll talk about that in another video soon, but I'm just here to plant a bed of radish, and I'm going to tie in the irrigation as I need it. You know, that's one thing that's great about drip, is that you can do that. And drip hasn't been too bad at this site because this soil is really heavy clay, and the water spreads relatively easy and it holds a lot of it. So this one isn't as bad as some of the other plots I have, but I'm gonna just tie into this drip and water this bed of radish that I just planted. All right, so I've got to, I'm just kind of jury-rigging this together. We made these beds longer by about 10 feet, or to the house there basically. And I need to extend those lines, so there's so much extra drip stuff around here that I think I'll be able to couple together these 4 lines. So I had a header from one of the old beds. I'm gonna tie it into this line here. I was able to couple together or just find a bunch of random parts. I don't have the couplers that I wanted. I wanted some of these because they're simple, but there wasn't any of those around and I didn't bring any, but I found these, so I can couple these in. Nice thing about drip is you don't even, if you have the right size drip, you don't even need to worry about this clamp. I'm gonna be able to put these, this is a 1/2 inch drip tape, and if you make sure your pieces are all 1/2 inch, sometimes they're 5/8 or whatever the size down from that is. Whatever the size down from that is, they'll slip off. But if you have 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch fittings consistently, drip doesn't have enough pressure to be able to blow things apart, at least if you're using a pressure reducer like I am. So I'm going to be able to tie, I've got 4 lines, I'm going to tie 2 with these, 1 with this, and then 1 with this by just doing a DIY trick where you take a scrap piece of tube, so you can use a 3-part coupler, which I have that are more common, and then you tile that in, and then I'll get a clip and I'll clip that closed. Now I'm going to tie in this header. So what I'm going to do is put this L bracket on the end, close it so that the water is just going to run on the drip. Tighten that back up, make sure everything else is tight. I love these hand couplers because they just make everything fast and easy, especially when you have to move your drip around a lot like I do, because we turn our beds over so often. Constantly take these on and off. So I'm going to tie this piece into here with just one of these. So I'll just tie in somewhere around here. I might have to jury rig it a bit. There we go. Now I'm going to tie those hoses together, or the new, so I got these, and those. This is all scrap, and then I need some scrap pieces. Oh, look at this. I found a straight coupler. So let's just take a random piece. I know it's at least 10 feet long. Put it in. Let's pin our header down so that when I pull on this, they don't move. I need another pin, and I'm going to steal it from here. It's good to have at least 3 pins, but I've got 2 on hand, so I'm going to hope that that's enough. Take my coupler. Here's the line from here. Got my cutting tool, my coupler. And I'm putting drip lines in. I like to pull them tight and make sure they're all pinned down and get them at the exact same length. Otherwise they kind of go wonky in the heat. When it gets hot, the lines expand and it pushes the lines up. That's why you can see here they're a little bit wavy. So you keep them tight, you get them as close to natural looking as you can, and then you pin them down on the lines as well. You know what? It's kind of worn out. I'm going to cut it fresh so that it doesn't slide out as easy as that did. See, when I stick it in, I can pull it out really easily. That means that if I can do that really easily, the water's going to do it. So cut it short. When it's fresh and it's tight, it gets on a lot more snug and then I can't pull it out. So here, no, that one too I'm gonna trim down. Two pieces at once. I'm gonna just cut them fresh right off the bat, assuming that they're pretty worn out. Because these lines, people ask me how long this drip tape lasts. This stuff's called Euro drip. It's really hard to find. I haven't found any new stuff after this. This is 7 years old. It still works perfectly. It's an amazing product. Don't know where to tell you where to get it. Nowhere that I was able to get it before I could get it again. So you're on your own, but it's called Euro drip and it's amazing. It's super thick. And there's emitters every 6 inches, which I like for intensive beds like this. You know what, I'm gonna cut that up again. So now I'm bringing it all to the end. So that's just about it. Before I leave, I'm gonna make sure to fire it up, but I'm also actually gonna hand water this bed in. I just direct seeded. I like to do that after I direct seed on drip tape, because then I get a nice covering on the surface and I find it just helps give me better germination off the bat. I'm gonna hit start right now and run it. And I'm also gonna get some pins while I'm doing that and pin these lines down. So I turn that on. Now I'm just gonna lay down a bunch of these pins and I'm gonna hand water it a bit and then I'm out of here. When I lay down drip tape, I actually prefer to have the drip emitters facing up so that I can see the water coming out of them. All right, I'm all done here. That's planted, these are watered. This plot right now, we're kind of not planting a lot at it because we have a lot of beds opening up close by. I prioritize those ones and plant these ones as sort of an afterthought, or try to do a sort of a monoculture. But you know, I'm contradicting myself because I just did plant a bed of radish. However, I did plant another bed of radish today, the same day at another plot, and or yesterday I should say. And so when those other ones are ready, I'll know these ones are ready. So I don't have to come here all the time. I try to come here once a week. Well, that's today's vlog. I'm done here. My conclusion of the day is the shade cloth works great. In fact, I want to use more of it because it's delivering good results, and I'm seeing poor results when I'm not using it. And you know, those kinds of things have happened forever. Not that often, but they have. And so this seems like a way that I can for sure solve that problem. So just a reminder, the Arizona tickets are up now. The early bird starts now, so that lasts about a month or two. And then don't forget my book discount and digital tools package discount up there as well. Talk to you guys later.